won his 19th game of the year. San Francisco has won 5 straight, and home baby is on a roll. Giants and the Astros coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to play ball. Live from the Astrodome, the Giants attack the Astros.
Struck well to left center field. Look out. There it is. See you later. 1-0 San Francisco.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Miller Brewing Company, sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers, and by Toyota, makers of quality cars and trucks. Who could ask for anything more?
The throw is offline. Gets away. Hitter's going to score. There he goes. They have thrown him out. Long throw is over the cutoff man head.
Today's game is also brought to you by BF Goodrich TAs. We make your car perform.
Broken bat looper in the center field. That's going to fall for a base hit. That's a fair ball. Mitchell throws.
And now joins Steve Physiak, Ron Fairley, and Dwayne Kuiper for all the action. Next.
From the Houston Astrodome, it is the final game of this 3-game series between the San Francisco Giants and the Houston Astros. Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Fairley, along with Dwayne Kuiper. The Giants have won 5 straight, and Dwayne Kuiper, they have a chance, conceivably anyway, with a victory today over a tough pitcher, Mike Scott, to go into a tie for second place.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds are a half a game in front of the Giants for third place, and only a game back are the Giants from the Astros. So, you know, you talk about a lot of reasons. One, you'd like to win it just because it would be a moral victory with all the injuries to finish second. But there's some money at stake. I think second-place team could get as much as $12,000.
Very quickly, Don Robinson going.
Following Rick Russell, Robinson will try to do what Rick Russell did, and that's pitch a fine game like Big Daddy did yesterday.
Well, pitching is such an important factor to this ball club. Let's go down the field with Steve Physiak and the pitching coach for the San Francisco Giants.
Guys, I'm here with pitching coach Norm Sherry, who takes all the credit for Don Robinson's success this year. I wanted to ask you, why is he has been such a success as a starter?
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, first of all, I'm not going to take all the success for him because the pitcher has to do it. But Don, as a starter, he works a little bit different than you would in relief. In relief, you got to come in and go after the guy right away, and you got to pick your best 2 pitches and go for it. When you start, you got a chance to use all your pitches, and he's developed a better curveball as a starter, and his split finger works a lot better, and he just has a little better rhythm. And the more he starts like he's done so far, why, the better rhythm that he'll get in his pitches, and he gets more confidence in the pitches that he wants to use. And he's a strong person, and has a good mental outlook, and he's a tough competitor. And when he goes into the start of the ball game, he knows that he's going to be able to go 5, 6, 7, 8 innings and give you good stuff, and he has. And I really think the big difference is that he gets in a good rhythm, and he gets to use all his pitches, and it makes a lot better pitcher for him than just coming out of the bullpen and saying, I'm going to go more fastballs than anything.
All right, we'll come back with Don Robinson. We'll have the starting lineups and the play-by-play action right after this.
Everyone knows certain times are better than others to buy a new car, especially when a dealer needs to clear out just a few of this year's models to make room for next year's. So if you're looking to make a great deal, this is a good time to talk to your Toyota dealer. With over 5,088 Toyotas in stock right now, we think he's in the mood to listen.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one.
Genuine draft anyone? About time.
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
Welcome back to the Houston Astrodome, where we're getting ready for the final game of this 3-game series. Let's run down the starting lineups for the San Francisco Giants. Butler will lead off and play in center field. Ernest Riles today batting second. Will Clark with 100 RBIs batting third. Maldonado in the cleanup spot. Aldretti batting fifth. Robbie Thompson's been dropped down to the 6th position in the lineup. Kurt Manwaring doing the catching. Jose Uribe with a home run yesterday batting 8th. And batting 9th is Don Robinson, as you see him warm up in the bullpen. Defensively, for the Houston Astros, Davis at first base, Dorn at second, Ramirez at shortstop, Bell over at third, the veteran there. And in the outfield, it is Poole, Young, and Drew. And behind the plate doing the catching is the veteran Alan Ashby. And on the mound, Mike Scott with a record of 13-7, ERA at 2.66. Ready to get the game underway. Here's Dwayne Kuiper.
And here's Brett Butler, and he takes a call strike for Mike Scott. 30th start, third against the Giants. He is 1-0 in 1988. He beat the Giants on August 3rd at the Stick. He went 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. He struck out 7. Mike Scott has always been tough on this ball club. His lifetime, he is 12-7. But if you look on the other hand, he has lost 3 in a row. He has also had 2 no decisions in his last 5 starts as Butler swings and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One of the things that makes Mike Scott so tough is that he does throw hard enough. He gets a lot of guys to swing at pitches out of the strike zone.
He is 4th in the National League in strikeouts with 176. Butler fouls this one out of play. Nolan Ryan leads the National League with 224 Ks. Also Scott second in the NL with 5 shutouts.
You notice that whenever he rubs up the baseball, he always has his back to the Giants dugout.
Pretty crafty fella. And Butler on the ground. Davis comes up with it. His throw to Scott is in time. Butler not sure about the call, as that was Randy Marsh.
Well, I'm not too sure about this call either, but Baker not really complaining very much down there at first base. What a tremendous play, though, by Davis. And getting up and from his knees making the accurate throw. And boy, I guess that, boy, I wouldn't want to be the umpire on that one. Get a chance to see it one more time. I don't know, does Butler miss first base? I know he tries to touch the front part of the bag.
Well, he may have come up just a little bit short as Ernest Riles takes the ball 1-0. But no question, a bang-bang play. 1 out for the Giants here in the top of the first inning. For Ernest Riles this year, he is 0 for 3 against Mike Scott. In the series, 1 for 1 with an RBI, and he drives this one down the right field line. Is it a fair ball? Yes, it is. Drew digging it out. Riles will round second, and he will head into third base, and he's in there. So a 1-out triple for Ernest Riles. Riles did not waste any time as he drilled that one down the right field line. That'll bring up Will Clark, as Ron mentioned, 100 RBIs. He reached that yesterday.
And of course, playing in right field is Cameron Drew. He is not familiar with the way the ball comes off the fence. A little bit late getting to the ball, and that allowed Riles to be able to go to third.
Here's Scott to Will Clark. That pitch is inside. On the season, Will Clark against the Houston Astros is, well, correction, against Mike Scott, 2 for 6 with a home run and 3 RBI. So he has had some success against Mike Scott. There aren't many Giants that can say that, and he hammers it into right field. This ball is back, and it is out of here. Will Clark with his 27th home run of the season. RBIs number 101 and 102. See if Will acknowledges his parents in the stands. Yes, he does. And the Giants lead 2-0.
You know, one way to evaluate a player's ability, and that is how well does he play against top teams. Well, if you look at Will Clark as this ball sails out of the ballpark, look what he does against Houston. Look what he does against Cincinnati. Look what he does against the New York Mets. This is really a good ball player.
And he likes to play against those teams. Those teams you mentioned, fine pitching staffs, as Maldonado takes a breaking ball outside. So Will Clark giving Donnie Robinson a 2-run cushion. Now for Will, his second home run against Mike Scott. 5 RBIs. Maldonado in the series, 1 for 6. has also had some success against Scott. He is 3 for 6 in 1988. He's also hitting 607, and that pitch is inside. The count is now 3-0.
Just to bring up the date on Clark, he now has against Houston just this year 6 home runs and 19 runs driven in. But you have to look at the teams that you have to beat. How do you play against those guys? And you've seen it as well as I have, Dwayne. Guys, when they're 10 runs behind or 10 runs ahead, that's when they drive in some runs. Isn't the same thing for Clark?
See Maldonado running down to first with a 1-out walk. Have to watch Mike Scott very closely to see if the 2-run home run by Will Clark has any effect on him, as he did not throw a strike to Candy Maldonado. There's the hum baby. He's checking things out.
Yeah, they're trying to win one more that will tie a season high, excuse me, a season high 6-game winning streak, and Lanier not too happy right now.
Here's Mike Aldretti, and that's a called strike on a fastball. For Aldretti, hitting .328 on the road, 1 for 2 in the series with 2 RBIs. That base hit was a pinch hit single that knocked in 2 runs on Friday night, and that just about did the Astros in. Here's the 0-1 to Aldo. That misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. You mentioned yesterday, Ron, it almost looked like the Astros were a team that were going through the motions, and my comment was to that it seemed like they had done that against the Giants a lot in this ballpark.
Yeah, well, they weren't playing with the intensity that we've seen them play with before. Of course, Big Daddy can make you look like that.
Yes, he can. That misses. 2-1. The Giants are 7-2 at the Astrodome this year. 10-7 overall. They've already won the season series. But their goal right now, win as many games as they can before the season's over, and then take their chances. That misses up. 3-1 is Scott really struggling. The Giants 1 game back of the Astros for 2nd place, a half a game back of the Reds for 3rd. Cincinnati Reds will be in town on the next Giants homestand, the last one of the year. See if Candy goes. He does. The pitch to Aldretti, swing and a miss. Ashby's throw is in time. Maldonado is thrown out. 2-6.
You can see right here, Aldretti may have swung at ball 4. Looked like the pitch might have been outside. And then Maldonado, you can see Ramirez just waiting for him to slide into the tag. They may have chased ball 4.
Full count to Aldretti, and he just gets a piece of it. A lot of times that happens where you get a hitter who is ahead in the count, and whether it's a hit and run or not, if it's a hit and run and you've got 3 balls and it is not a strike, you might as well take it. It's ball 4.
Well, do you give him a hit and run or the run and hit? Or are you just sending the runner?
And ball 4, the ball gets away from Ashby. It would have to be the run and hit, because you're eventually going to leave it up to the hitter.
Yeah, what you're telling the hitter is that you really don't have to swing. Make sure you get a strike. If it's a ball, take it. You're not demanded to swing the bat under a situation like that.
2nd walk in the inning given up by Mike Scott. Here's Robbie Thompson. Robbie been in that 2nd slot in the lineup ever since the middle of May. Now he's hitting 6th, and he takes this pitch inside. 1-0. Mike Aldretti, the base runner at first. He has stolen 5 bases. He's been caught 4 times. Scott steps off as he and his catcher Alan Ashby not on the same wavelength. 1 ball and no strikes to Robbie Thompson, and Robbie hits this one into center field. Gerald Young on his horse, and he tracks it down in right center. Well, for the Giants, they come up with a pair of runs on Will Clark's 2-run home run after 1/2 inning. Giants 2, Astros coming to bat.
What are you pouring for us here, David? Is this something special?
Well, I found a new wine I think you might like. What is this?
This has a beautiful color.
This is really good. Is it hard to find?
I think I can get you a bottle.
Let me see what this is, David. Oh.
White Grenache. Gallo.
Gallo?
How about that?
Ernest and Julio Gallo introduce a remarkable new wine, White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
In 13 cities in 10 countries across the Pacific, they're playing our song. United Airlines Royal Pacific Service, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve, halfway around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
By every scientific measure, they are absolutely the same.
You haven't had any experience until I've had it too.
They share everything.
You mean to say there's 2 of them? They're twins, dear.
I think we should drop her there. You drop her.
A new thriller from the director of The Fly, David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. Rated R.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Giants leading by a score of 2-0 as we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Let's run down the Houston Astros lineup for you. Here's the way that Hal Lanier is going. Gerald Young leading off in center field. Bill Dorn at second base. Terry Poole in left field. Glenn Davis at first base. Buddy Bell, the veteran, at third base. Alan Ashby doing the catching. Cameron Drew in right field. Rafael Ramirez at shortstop. And Mike Scott doing the pitching for the Astros. Defensively, here's the way the Giants align themselves. Clark at first base. Thompson, Rebe, and Wiles around the infield. And in the outfield, Aldrete, Butler, Maldonado. Kurt Manwaring doing the catching again, and on the mound, right-hander Don Robinson going after his 8th victory of the year.
And the pitch to Young is outside. 1 ball and no strikes for Donnie Robinson. His 16th start, second against the Astros. He is 1-0 this season. He shut out the Astros on August 10th at the Dome. He threw a 1-0 complete game, 1-hitter, and he struck out 8 as he falls behind 2-0 to Gerald Young. His last outing in San Diego, Robbie got the victory in a 6-5 Giant win as he went 7 innings, 8 hits. He struck out 1. He didn't walk anybody. So Robbie pitching very well, and one of the reasons it's not indicated that much in his record is he's had a lot of no decisions this year. 7 to be exact. Call strike evens up the count at 2-2. He is 6-5 lifetime against the Astros. 3-0 as a Giant. He also has a pair of saves. Robbie with a fine 2.50 ERA. Here's a 2-2. Young flips this one down the left field line, and that'll be foul.
You know, in yesterday's game, first time this year anyway, that Young bunted for a base hit. You would think with his speed that he has, that he would attempt to bunt some more. In fact, we have been told that he is going to go to winter ball and go down there and practice and learn how to bunt.
Take a little bunting instruction. Here's a 2-2. He grounds it to Will. Will will take it himself. And that's 1 out here in the first inning.
And that surprises me. I thought with his speed, being a leadoff man, that would be second grade, second semester kind of stuff for him. And yet here's a guy that is doing reasonably well. He's batting .260, no home runs, 33 runs driven in, and doesn't bunt.
And not nearly, Butler doesn't have nearly the same amount of speed as Gerald Young.
No.
And Butler has 18 bunt base hits. Here's Billy Dorn. Dorn in the series 2 for 7. His average at .253, and he swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Well, what Gerald Young is going to have to realize that even if you bunt 10 times and you're 0 for 10, you're still going to draw those infielders in, and you're going to get your share of base hits past those infielders that are playing right down your throat. Here's the 0-1 to Doran. Doran into center field. Butler coming in, and he catches it about knee high.
That ball just had a tendency to hang just long enough for Butler to be able to come in and make the play. You can see right here. And I think as soon as Doran hit it, he knew that he was going to be out. But that ball just had a tendency to hang.
Hitters have a way of knowing as soon as it leaves the bat.
Yeah, you got a good. You know where that thing's going to be in there or not.
Here's Terry Poole. Poole at .313, 3 for 5 in the series, 1 for 3 this year off of Donnie Robinson. Poole fouls it back. The first 3 hitters in the Astros lineup, Young with 61 stolen bases, Doran with 17, Poole with 21. After those 3, the numbers drop down severely as Poole lines this one foul.
A good catch by that young man down there. Comes to the ballpark. He's got his glove as he hooks it. This ball is hit hard. And right there, look at that.
Well, he probably saved someone from getting injured.
Sign that kid. He's got good hands.
Donnie Robinson ahead in the count, 0-2 to Terry Poole. And Poole fouls it straight back. Usually when you see a hitter foul a ball that goes straight back, it usually means that he had a pretty good swing and it was a fastball.
And he had the bat out in front. He had the bat out there. He had it pretty well timed. When that ball goes back, now if you're a left-hand hitter, the ball goes back a little bit to the left. That means he was late on it.
No balls and 2 strikes to Terry Poole. Glenn Davis is on deck for the Astros. Giants leading 2-0. And Robbie trying to nibble on the outside corner. Poole doesn't buy it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There you see the slugger for the Astros, Glenn Davis. Here's the 1-2. And that pitch misses up. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Terry Poole has been platooned all season. There's a left-hander on the mound. Poole is on the bench. He will be in the lineup facing right-handers. And he chops this one right over Robbie. Uribe cuts in front of Thompson. His throw is in time. Nice play by Jose Uribe. 3 up, 3 down for the Astros here in the first inning after 1. Giants 2, Astros nothing.
Anyway you get there, the border has a deal too good to miss.
There's something over there you can't get anywhere.
Because now at Taco Bell, our original taco is just 59 cents.
What's happening next is where best meets west.
Ground beef, real cheddar cheese, 59-cent tacos all day, every day. Now that's a deal worth running for. Better hurry.
Taco Bell has your order, make a run for the border.
Just because something's marked clearance doesn't mean it's right for you.
None of these shoes match.
But at your Dodge dealer's big factory authorized clearance, you'll find sports cars to Ram Tough pickups. Right now, save up to $1,650 on full-size Dodge pickups in stock when you combine cash back with Prospector package savings. Or save up to $2,250 on select mid-size Dakota pickups in stock. Or get $300 back on Dakota S models. Get what's right for you. See your Dodge dealer now during the big factory authorized clearance.
Read any good beer bottles lately? This one tells you that Miller Genuine Draft is the one beer that's cold filtered, not heat pasteurized. So we haven't changed the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. And you know what's the best thing about reading this bottle? It leads to a very happy ending.
To nothing. Mike Scott facing Kurt Manwaring, and Manwaring fouls it out of play. On this road trip, Kurt Manwaring has 4 RBIs. He has 2 RBIs against the Astros in this 3-game series. Manwaring coming in at 258. And that pitch misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. It almost looks, Ron, and we talked about it yesterday afternoon, that Manwaring has made some adjustments where Matt Williams hasn't. Here's the 1-1. That's fouled.
He has. And I think the whole thing is, you can hit and run with Kurt Manwaring. You can't do that with Matt Williams because Matt swings and misses too much. And I think if you look at it in the long run, this young man right here has been hitting a lot better than Matt, although Matt has tremendous more power.
Scott gets Manwaring swinging.
And he got him with a nasty split finger fastball. But this young man here has made quite a few improvements. And he's made a lot of adjustments and primarily hitting the ball the other way. Right now, you can see he's fooled badly on this pitch. But there are a lot of guys in the league that have trouble with that split finger.
Especially that one right there. That one was nasty. Here's Jose Uribe. Uribe has hit in 10 of his last 13 games. He is 3 for 8 against the Astros since the Giants have come into town. He hit a home run yesterday. He hit it right-handed. And he hit it deep.
Yeah, he hit it up into the seats. I mean, he just didn't hit it over the fence. He hit it up in those orange seats.
1 ball and no strikes to Uribe. Jose with 3 home runs, 31 RBIs. And he takes a strike right there. 1 ball and 1 strike. You folks are interested in the American League Eastern Division. The Red Sox are leading the New York Yankees 7-3. That is in the 5th inning. And that pitch misses. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Red Sox a little tough to beat at Fenway, aren't they?
Red Sox have done a job since the Yankees won the opening game of that 4-game series. 2 balls and 1 strike to the Giants shortstop. Uribe off his fist fouls this one out of play. That right now is about the only division that looks like has a pennant race. And that pitch misses. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Jose batting over 300 from the other side of the plate.
Correction, it's a full count. And here's the payoff. Uribe right up the middle off of Scott. Uribe is going to have an infield hit as that ball ricocheted right towards the Astros dugout. And Scott shaking his head, shaking it off.
I think he's more irritated than he is hurt. Pitchers do not like to have that ball hit right back at him. Of course, Scott, like so many pitchers, when it hit him, he wasn't looking. Turned his head away.
Here's Donnie Robinson. Robbie with only 1 sacrifice bunt this year. He is 8 for 42, hitting 190, has a 3-game hitting streak. And he squares around the bunt, and he takes it for a ball down and away. Bill Fahey giving Donnie Robinson the sign. Robbie hoping that it's not the bunt sign.
Robbie likes to swing the bat. He doesn't like that bunting thing. Of course, he can swing the bat pretty good, too.
Yes, he can. Squares around and bunts it foul.
Not too sure how well he can bunt, but I know he'd prefer to swing the bat.
Robbie may prove to Roger Craig that he is a better hitter than he is a bunter if he continues to bunt like he has. One ball and 1 strike to Donnie Robinson. Jose Uribe, the base runner at first. Robbie bunting again. Bunts this one fair. It's a good bunt. Davis's only play will tag Donnie Robinson. And with 2 outs here in the 2nd inning, the Giants have a base runner in scoring position.
Well, they're doing that for a couple of reasons. Number one, Robinson does not have he has that bad knee. And they don't want him on base at all. The last game he played, his knee kind of bothered him just a little bit. This one here lays down a blueprint. That's perfect.
Here's Butler. Butler grounded out to Glenn Davis to lead off the ball game. Davis made a fine play. It was a close play as Butler tried to race Mike Scott to the bag. Two down. Uribe at second, and Butler pops this one up. Ashby coming back, and this ball looks like it's going to reach the seats, and it does. L.A. Cincinnati, no score in the second inning. The same with St. Louis in Chicago. The Mets are defeating Montreal 5-0. That's in the fifth. Philadelphia 2, Pittsburgh 1 in the fourth. And in the second inning, Atlanta 4, San Diego 1. Toronto 1, Cleveland 0 in the fifth. Chicago 1, Minnesota 0. That is in the second. And Kansas City and Oakland will play later. No balls and 1 strike to Brett Butler. Butler with 48 RBIs on the season. He will step out of the batter's box. He is 2 for 8 in the series. He is 0 for 6 off of Mike Scott in 1988. And he swings and misses. Now he's behind 0-2.
Mike Scott, one of those kind of pitchers that if you're going to beat him, you're going to have to score early in the game. Because as the game goes along, he gets tougher.
There are a lot of times, if you ever check the line score with Mike Scott pitching, where he will give up 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3 runs in the first or second inning, and then it'll be all zeros after that. Here's the 0-2. Butler grounds another one to Davis. His toss to Scott, and it's another close play, but Butler is out of there, so the Giants waste the base hit by Jose Uribe. After 1.5, they lead 2-0.
Tires. We know you don't think about them much, but man, what the right set can do for your car. For when baby needs a new set of shoes, BF Goodrich TAs. We make your car perform.
We carry about 40 different sizes. We carry a full range of shorts. We carry a full range of extra longs. We carry suits and sport coats up to size 54. We carry pants to waist size 50. We carry shirts with a 19 neck. The reason we carry all of these sizes is so that 99.9% of the men who come into the men's warehouse will be able to find products in their size.
Sunday, September 25th is Fan Appreciation Day. During the Dodgers game, we'll be giving out hundreds of gifts to our fans, just as long as we don't give any gifts to the Dodgers. It should be fun.
Giants leading 2-0, and we'd like to tell you can learn the basics of CPR with the Giants on Save a Life Saturday, September 24th. You can sign up either for the 8:30, 9:30, or 10:30 a.m. class in Lot C between gates E and F. And all participants will receive a coupon good for 2 free 1989 Giants games. For tickets to the Giants-Dodgers 105 game, call your local Teletron number right now. That's Save a Life Saturday on September 24th. Here's Glenn Davis. He'll lead it off for the Astros in their half of the second inning. Giants leading 2-0. Donnie Robinson set down the Astros in order in the first inning. And Davis on the first pitch hits this one into center field. Butler with plenty of room, and that's out number 1.
Davis, like so many of the hitters on this Houston ball club, they're first ball hitters. And he went after that pitch, and that was really a pitcher's type of a pitch.
Here's the Astros third baseman, Buddy Bell. Buddy coming in at 245. He hit a home run Friday night. That was the third against the Giants. He hit one when he was a member of the Cincinnati Reds, and he has hit a pair since he has joined the Astros. Here's the 1-0. Buddy with a base hit into center field. That's the first base hit off of Donnie Robinson. Well, the Astros have their first base runner, and that's Buddy Bell. That'll bring up the Astro catcher, Alan Ashby.
Just an added note for you. Bell now needs just 5 more hits for 2,500 in his career.
A lot of base hits. For Ashby, his numbers for the year look like 255, 7 home runs, 32 RBIs. Ashby spent about 2 months on the disabled list with a bad back. The first time he had ever experienced a bad back. And he takes the first pitch down and away, 1-0. I don't think any of you folks have ever had back problems. You want to experience them more than one time.
All of his home runs from this side of the plate.
1-0 to Alan Ashby. Chops this one in front of the plate. Manwaring, his only play will be to first base, and that's the second out. Buddy Bell moves over to second.
You can see right here, Ashby tapping it right out in front of home plate. The thing that I noticed was that Bell going into second base, as Manwaring had only the one play. You can see Clark positioning himself on the inside of the bag to give Manwaring a better target. That's a real good shot right there, by the way. Good camera work. But Bell diving into second base, he's been around Pete Rose, hasn't he? Pete Rose has put more guys on the disabled list than anyone I can think of.
Here's Cameron Drew, and he takes a big swing and a miss, and he just gets a piece of it. I think if Buddy had to do it all over again, though, Ron, he would have gone in standing up.
I say that because Pete Rose, for so many years, you know, dove into bags head first, never got hurt. And I tell you what, you see guys do it today when you don't have to dive head first. It is the worst slide in the world, and it's the easiest way to hurt yourself.
It is, especially your hands and your fingers.
Your shoulders, your neck.
0-1 to Drew. And another foul back, 0-2.
There's Buddy.
Not only that, but it gets the front of your uniform dirty.
Look at that. All down his belly and down the front. Attaboy. He's a fine person and still can play this game of baseball. Although he's been around for a while. Bad knee, he can still play.
Hope he decides to stay in the game somehow. 0-2 to Cameron Drew. There is a base open. And that pitch is high, 1-2. Rafael Ramirez is on deck. Ramirez has had a fine series as he is 4 for 7. He is an outstanding 8th place hitter. Also has 57 RBIs from that number 8 slot. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Drew. And he fouls this one right into the Giants dugout.
Sent him up in the other alley. Look at that, Francisco Melendez.
You can always tell the hitters, they sit in the dugout with a bat in their hands.
Yeah.
You can usually tell the infielders they will sit in the dugout with either nothing or a glove. And you can always tell Bob Lillis, he has a pen in hand.
That's right. There's on, baby.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Cameron Drew. And that pitch almost hit Drew as Robbie, thinking that Drew may be leaning out over the plate a little bit.
Well, you can see him dive into the ball. Look at this. And then how that misses him. Boy, it doesn't miss him by very much. But here's a guy, Cameron Drew. He is big. He's 6'5", 215, 220, and he's a singles hitter. Although he takes a big, vicious cut. Down at Tucson, hit only 7 home runs.
There's a 2-2. And another foul ball. He is a big guy, and I'm surprised that he doesn't hit more home runs, although size doesn't have a whole lot to do with the number of home runs you hit. As you see Hal Lanier. Lanier has not been a happy camper since the Giants have come into town.
No, the Giants win the opening game as Humbaby checking things out. And Lanier did not shower, just got dressed and left the sports writers waiting for him. He went out the side door, and then yesterday Giants thumped him again 4-2.
Here's a 2-2 to Drew, and that's a call, strike 3 for Donnie Robinson. His first strikeout. The Astros strand Buddy Bell at second base after 2 complete. Giants leading 2-0.
Mark and Brian rocking LA. It's another hot one out there. 98, 12 degrees and no relief in sight. It's hot, hot, hot.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is want a cold filtered one.
Man, I could sure go for one of these.
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
We have a slightly revised forecast. It's go.
Citibank has this 800 number you can call. Well, I couldn't believe it when they called me.
I noticed unusually heavy activity on her Citibank MasterCard. I suspected someone got one of her carbons and was charging on her card fraudulently.
He told me I wasn't responsible for those charges. While he was talking, I thought, am I glad my MasterCard is with Citibank? With any other bank, chances are I'd be the one doing the talking.
Not just MasterCard, Citibank MasterCard.
Hi, I'm Ray Combs, new host of Family Feud. I'm sure you're asking yourselves, Ray, where are the young game show hosts of tomorrow coming from? No problem. I'm raising them. Here you see the future. A dynasty of MCs ready to meet the challenge.
The survey says it's the #1 answer. You look lovely, Vanna.
Obviously, the black sheep of the family.
Family Feud, starting Monday at 7:30 on Channel 2.
Back at the Astrodome, Giants leading 2-0, and here's Steve Fisiak.
All right, Mike Scott will face the guys that caused him the only problem in the game to lead this third inning off. Ernest Riles tripled with 1 out in the first inning, and then Will Clark crushed his 27th home run. And Ernest Riles fouls it off. He's behind the count, strike one. Boy, he has hit the ball extremely well. 12 of his last 20. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'm not sure if you could actually call it a pleasant surprise that we've seen Ernest Riles play so well. I suppose you could just credit the Giants organization for knowing what Ernest Riles could do.
Behind the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See, those two kids here at the Astrodome both have caught a souvenir baseball, and they're going to chat about it for a while. Well, I did mine this way, and mine was a better play than yours.
Mine was hit a lot harder. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Riles takes high and inside. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But getting back to my point about Riles, you know, when the Giants traded Jeffrey Leonard for Ernest Riles, Riles was basically an unknown player, having played in the American League. But I think that he has really shown the Giants and the Giants fans in Northern California that he can play a little bit.
And although Milwaukee's playing well right now, Jeffrey Leonard is not exactly tearing up the American League, and that's not to take anything away from Jeffrey. But Ernest Riles is hitting .318 with 2 home runs and 27 RBIs. Here's a ground ball, Ramirez, and he throws out Ernest Riles, so Ernest is 1 for 2 in the ball game. Hey, we'd like to let our fans know in the Bay Area that there is a big fire north of Vacaville, and it's making a smoky haze around the Bay Area. So that's what's contributing to that smoky haze outlook as you look outside your living room window, watching the Giants play on a Sunday afternoon. Here's Will Clark. Takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Will took a split-fingered fastball from Mike Scott and deposited over the right field wall for home run number 27. And RBIs 101 and 102. He is the National League leader. Takes up high and almost falls down. 2-0.
Well, it looked like Mike Scott is trying to hump up a little bit on Will Clark. Will hit a 3-run home run off of Scott at Candlestick.
3 balls, no strikes.
And I don't believe that Mike Scott is pitching around Will Clark. I just think that he's pitching him differently than he did in the first inning.
He walks him on 4 pitches, though, and that is walk number 3 in the game for Scott, the first since that first inning when he was all over the plate. He walked Candy. He walked Mike Aldretti. There's Mom. I don't see Dad. Mom is right in the middle. Well, that's not Mom.
Mom is the redhead right over the head of the young gal waving.
Nice job. Aggressive crew we have working here at the Astrodome.
Well, if Will Clark's father is anything like mine.
There goes Will Clark, and the pitch is popped up. It'll be out of play, and Clark will retreat to first base.
My dad had a tough time staying in one seat when he watched me play. My dad would actually walk around the ballpark, maybe sit down next to a stranger and ask that stranger, what do you think about that kid playing second base? And if he'd find somebody that liked me, then he'd stay there for a while.
Well, I thought it was great what Mrs. Clark was saying, comparing your home run, your only home run, to the only fish that she's ever caught. It was like 3 feet long. She says, why should I go after another fish? Hey, I caught a big one.
Fine parallel by Mrs. Clark.
So she told her husband, you catch one as big as the fish that I caught, and then you can brag. And it's like the home run that you hit. You hit one 4 seats up.
I have a lot in common with a lot of people.
There's Clark at first base. 1 out. We're in the third. 2-0 our score. San Francisco has the lead on Houston and trying for their first sweep. 3-game sweep of the Houston Astros since 1979. They had a chance at it earlier this year, winning the first 2 games of the Astrodome and then losing the finale.
Will Clark with pretty good numbers. He has stolen 5 bases and he hasn't been caught.
There he goes, and the pitch is outside. The throw to second base, not in time. He's 6 for 6.
See Alan Ashby, he is in his crouch, and there's the pitch. It was could have been a split finger away, and Will Clark beating a bad throw from Alan Ashby, and as I mentioned, 6 steals for the natural, and he hasn't been caught.
And you know, last year he stole 5 bases but was caught 17 times. His adjustment as he grows older has really been dramatic. Here's a pop-up on the infield. Billy Doran. 2 outs.
Well, I think one of the reasons for those 17 caught stealings is the fact that Roger Craig last year had so many more opportunities to use the hit and run. And this year he hasn't had the luxury of doing that. And Will Clark, many of those caught stealings were missed hit and runs where the hitter just didn't make contact. And I think Roger, one of the things this year that he hasn't been able to do is take advantage of that hit and run play because he just hasn't had as many base runners.
They're second in the National League in runs scored, but they've piled up a bundle in like 3, 4, 5 games. And it's like Roger Craig said, we're getting those runs not necessarily at the right times. Last year we'd get them in 1-run ball games. This year we might be down by 6 runs and get 4.
And it's pretty tough to use the hit and run when you're down by a lot of runs.
Mike Aldretti takes a strike. He's behind the count. No balls, 1 strike. We have 2 outs. Clark is at second base. Giants leading 2-0.
Another guy with some pretty good tolos stealing bases. Robbie Thompson is 14 of 19. And Robbie, who is hitting 6th in today's game, usually hits 2nd. Robbie would like to run a little bit more.
Pitch to Aldretti is low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Aldretti had the game-winning RBI on Friday when San Francisco rallied from a 2-0 deficit. And Aldretti punched the game winner in. Giants scored 5 runs. Pitch to Mike. It swings and it's lifted the opposite way. Back goes the left fielder. It's over his head. It will score. Will Clark. It's a 3-0 ball game. San Francisco has the lead. Well, Terry Poole just did not measure it. He broke in, then broke out. By that time, it was just a little bit late. And a double for Mike Aldretti.
Also, Poole not really respecting the opposite field power that Mike Aldretti has, was playing him real shallow. Poole gets there, but you can see he gets just a little bit of leather on it. And once the ball gets by him, easy double for Aldo. And also an RBI. I'm assuming they're going to give Mike Aldretti a base hit.
Well, he has really hit the ball well on the road. His average right near 330 on the road. Here's the pitch low to Robbie Thompson, blocked nicely by Alan Ashby. It's ball 1. And they have given Mike Aldrete a base hit, so a double for Aldrete and an RBI. Giants scoring 2 in the first, 1 more here in inning number 3, and Thompson is up there. He hit the ball hard, but Gerald Young was able to run it down in right center. Giants have won 5 in a row. They're going for a season high 6 in a row this afternoon. Checks his swing. Misses outside, and Mike Scott struggling. 2 balls, no strikes. You know, when Scott was with the New York Mets, he had a fastball and a slider. Didn't change his speed at all. And he had one awful season where he could not get the slider over, and he said, hey, when I throw it, I just get beat. And then he visited Roger Craig, and the rest was history. Well, here's Robbie Thompson. Lifts one to left center. Young near the wall, makes the catch. Well, the split finger made the difference for Mike Scott, but in this ball game, he looks to the heavens for help. He's down 3-0 at the end of 2.5.
Save almost $1,900 on the ground-grabbing 4-wheel drive performer, Ford Ranger STX. Drive the sporty Ford Ranger S for well under $7,000. Get hot deals on Hot Wheels now at your local Ford dealer. Get them while they're hot.
Maintaining an energy network is not without its problems. But at PG&E, we take pride in creative solutions.
You intend to raise these towers with no damage to my vineyard?
You bet.
And without shutting down the power. Really? We can do it.
Our tower lifter does the job of a crane, only faster and better and cheaper. To date, it's saved over $500,000 and a priceless crop of grapes.
Pretty nice work.
That's PG&E. Now more than ever, at your service.
If business takes you to San Diego, take U.S. Air. We take off nonstop 11 times a day.
Fans, when you're purchasing your Giants tickets, don't forget the new Giants Family Pavilion. This special section offers fans an area free of alcohol and smoking, and these seats are only $5. Call Teletron now for tickets to the Giants in the Family Pavilion. Operators are standing by. Don Robinson has allowed just 1 hit in this baseball game. Last time he pitched in the Astrodome, he went 9 innings, allowed just 1 hit, and faced only 28 batters. The only guy to get a base hit off him that evening in Houston was Terry Poole on a ground ball infield single off the glove of Don Robinson. So Rafael Ramirez will start the bottom of the 3rd off. Then to the pitcher's spot we go, and Mike Scott, and back to the top of the order in Gerald Young. So hitters 8, 9, and 1. Ramirez is hitting .271 with 5 home runs, 57 RBIs. He is 1 short of a career high in RBIs. He's really played well. 11 hits in his last 23 at-bats. And the Giants play him to push that ball to the right side. Takes it up high, ball 1. Giants came into this afternoon's contest 9 games back of the leader, Los Angeles. Won last night 4-3 over the Cincinnati Reds. Houston came in 8 back, Cincinnati 8.5 back, and you know, if Houston does not start playing better, they could wind up in 5th place realistically.
A lot of teams that are real close, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th teams to be exact.
Inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And there's going to be a lot of competition to see who's going to finish in 2nd place. I've said it a couple times, it would be a moral victory for the Giants with all the injuries they've had to their starting staff.
Ground ball, base hit left field. This may be extra bases and will be for Rafael Ramirez. So a leadoff double for Ramirez, and Robinson has given up his 2nd hit of the ball game. The first man to lead an inning off by getting on base.
Well, for Ramirez's 29th double of the season, that leads the Astros, and this ball is just going to keep on rolling on the turf. And once Mike Aldrete can pick it up, easy stand-up double for Rafael Ramirez. See, Riles was playing off the bag. He's going to go after it, but this ball is by him. Donnie Robinson wanted to get that pitch a little bit more in.
And that takes us to Mike Scott. Ramirez with the lead at second base, and Scott will square and pops the bunt up back to the screen, strike one.
Now Mike Scott with 5 sacrifice bunts on the year. Hitting .091, he is 6 for 66. But going back to Ramirez for a minute, he is now 5 for 8 in the series against the Giants.
Hardly played at all last year for the Atlanta Braves. Andres Thomas took that job over, and he's a good shortstop. Scott again tries to bunt. Now there are 2 strikes. And he wants that man at third base with 1 out. Missed opportunities. It goes back to Friday when they had the bases loaded, nobody out, Kite, in that 9th inning. And Kevin Bass strikes or pops up. And Glenn Davis hits the ball hard, but right into a 6-4-3 double play.
Have not taken advantage of the offensive situations that they've been in. Scott can really help himself out here. But he's got to get the bunt down.
He'll swing away this time, and there's strike 3. Don Robinson right down the middle. That's his second of the game.
And I'm surprised that Scott wasn't bunting. Astros need to get on the board, as this is a hanging breaking ball. And you'll watch the reaction of Mike Scott. And he said, well, if I had to do it all over again, I wish I would have swung at it. Pretty good pitch to hit.
Up there right at the letters. Here's Gerald Young. He hit the ball hard, but right at Will Clark his first time up. We took care of him unassisted. First pitch to Gerald is up high, ball 1. Ernest Riles really cheating down the line at third base, anticipating and respecting the speed of Gerald Young. Thompson deep at second. Uribe pulled over and kind of cheating behind. Ramirez trying to keep him close at second base. And Young pops it up. Left field. Aldretti, 2 outs. You know, it's interesting visiting with Norm Sherry before the ball game, talking about Don Robinson. He, as a reliever, he'd look to his fastball, and sometimes it would not work. Then he'd go to his curveball, and if it wouldn't work, by that time it may be too late. But as a starter, he could kind of pace himself and get in his own gear, and that's really been a big difference.
Yeah, one of the problems Donnie Robinson had as a reliever was getting that first guy out that he faced, and also the second guy. As a starter, you know, you've got a little bit more opportunity to try to figure out what's working for you. As a reliever, you basically have to know after you throw 1 or 2 pitches which ones are going to be effective.
Tell you what, he could certainly be in the rotation next year. He has been terrific. 15 starts. He's only had 1 bad outing, that against Atlanta.
Well, if there is such a thing as earning in one season whether you should be in the rotation for the next season, I think Donnie Robinson has done that. And I'm sure that Roger Craig feels like, hey, listen, this guy really saved us this year by being a starter and by being effective. He deserves it if that's what he wants to do, and I believe he does.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Bill Doran. 2 balls, no strikes. Ramirez led the inning off with a double down the left field line. Scott struck out, and Gerald Young has since popped up to left fielder Mike Aldretti. And Roger Craig enjoying a 3-0 lead. Ramirez with the lead at second base. In there, 2-1. And Doran didn't like the call.
Now, Billy Doran thought this ball may have been up, but I think this has something to do with the new strike zone. Definitely was not inside. It was close.
So here's the 2-1 pitch with 2 outs. it up. There will be a play for Will Clark. Down the foul line. Ending the inning, and the Astros waste the leadoff double by Rafael Ramirez. Don Robinson with a nice job pitching. We head to the fourth. Robinson and the Giants leading Houston 3-0.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one. Yeah, if you want a beer whose real draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Toyota Corolla. First time I saw the new one, I said, that's a Corolla?
And why'd you say that?
It doesn't look like a Corolla. It's beautiful. And from where the driver sits, it's even more beautiful.
How so?
Great handling. Multi-valve performance, sporty interiors. Beautiful. But I still keep thinking, this is a Corolla?
The new dimension, Corolla. Legendary value, Toyota quality.
Who could ask for anything more?
In the Attorney General's office, protecting the people of California against consumer fraud was an important part of our job. Let me warn you about Prop 100. It's an old scam known as the bait and switch. It talks about good drivers, the bait, but Prop 100 also prohibits any limitation on attorney's fees, the switch. The right to regulate abuses by certain lawyers should stay with you and our elected representatives. Don't let them get away with this one.
Top of the fourth inning, and Kurt Manwaring goes after the first pitch by Mike Scott and lines a base hit to left field. So Manwaring is on, and the Giants have their first leadoff man in this game.
Manwaring does not waste any time on a pitch that was down and away. Good piece of hitting. He lines it right over Buddy Bell's head. So Manwaring with a leadoff single to start it off for the Giants here in the fourth inning.
He's really hitting the ball well on this road trip. He has 4 RBIs in the 5 games in this trip. 1 for 2 in this ball game, and here's Uribe. He lined one off Mike Scott, his first time up in inning number 2, and there goes Manwaring, and the pitch is hit to left field. Terry Poole will make the play, and Manwaring retreats to first base. So the hit and run was on for San Francisco, and it brings us to Don Robinson. And it's time for our Giants Television Network trivia question. All right, name the player who holds the record for most World Series hits. When Ron Fairley comes back in inning number 7, he will have the answer for you. Or as Joe Morgan would say, no more calls, please. 1 ball, no strike.
We have not stumped anybody on Giants Vision in 3 years.
I tell you what, there's some great fans out there. You take a look at all those baseball card collections that go on and meetings, and it's really a terrific area for baseball. Great success in the last 2 years. The Giants won the West, went to the National League Championship Series last year. The Oakland A's will head that direction for the American League West this year. Manwaring with the lead at first base. Robinson with the count, 2 balls, no strikes. He'll swing away, and he lines it hard, but foul. And again, Manwaring was moving.
I was just about to say, it looked like Donnie Robinson taking a longer look at Bill Fahey prior to that pitch may have meant that Roger Craig putting on the hit and run. That's what he did. Had nothing to do with the big smile on Robbie's face when he saw it.
Well, he loves to swing the bat. He's hitting 190 this year, but 254 in his career. He has a pair of doubles this year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Manwaring's going, and the pitch is grounded foul, and evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Robinson can keep things going. Brett Butler will follow. Giants are up 3-0, scoring 2 in the first on Will Clark's 27th home run. And 1 more in the third on Mike Aldretti's double to left field that scored Will Clark.
Well, you can see what Roger likes to do when he's got a lead. Likes to get those base runners moving.
Robinson squares to bunt, takes outside, 3-2. Well, now he's got Houston totally confused. Swinging away with the count 2-0, and then squaring to bunt with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the defense has no idea how to play in future situations. Manwaring's going. Pitch is fouled off.
Well, this is not your classic hit and run, because Donnie Robinson does not have to swing.
And Kurt Manwaring almost fell down retreating to first base, and that's why he's got the smile on his face. And I think Dusty Baker, the first base coach, was giving a little go over. Kurt again goes. Pitch is hit hard to left field. Back goes Terry Poole. And there's home run number 1 for Robinson this year. It's 5-0 San Francisco.
And there's the big guy. Manwaring steps on home plate. And this is the way Donnie Robinson likes to run the bases, with those bad legs. And he was due to do this at one point this year, as he did it last year when the Giants clinched the Western Division against the San Diego Padres. But rarely do you see it happen against Mike Scott. And at some point, Robbie's going to give us a smile. There it is.
He has 8 career home runs now, 50 RBIs. Batting average right near 260 in his career.
And with the 3-2 pitch, Mike Scott has to come in there. And this one almost knocked that sharp sign down.
The Babe. He can pitch, he can hit. Now here's Brett Butler. He's hit the ball hard twice to the first baseman, Glenn Davis, but erased both times in a play that went pitcher or first baseman to pitcher. Ball 2 to Brett Butler. Big way to go.
And of course, what you do after you hit one, you have to tell someone about it.
And Butler lays down a nice bunt. Scott picks it off, long throw, and just does get Brett Butler. So 2 outs here in the 4th.
Pretty good play by Mike Scott. Had Butler had a little bit closer to the third base line, he would have beat this out. But Scott, using the bare hand, all he has to do then is pick it up, and he's in position to throw, and he just barely gets Brett Butler.
That takes us to Ernest Riles, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game. A triple and a run score. That came in the first inning, way inside for Mike Scott, and he really reared back on that one. Robinson with the home run. Boy, he was doing some major league talking this morning, wasn't he? Getting all over Bob Melvin, his catcher, about California losing yesterday. Inside. 2-0.
Well, the one thing that Donnie Robinson will do is he will keep the guys around him pretty loose. As you can see, Mike Scott continuing to come inside. I'm not sure if there's a message behind any of these pitches. I'm starting to think there is. Basically, the home run by Robbie, and then maybe Brett Butler trying to bunt for a base hit.
That's 3 way inside on Ernest Riles, and here's the 3-0 pitch. And again, it's inside. You know, it seems like his release point may be a little bit late, but that purpose that you're talking about, you would think Mike Scott, if he wants to hit you, can hit you.
Check out his mechanics. And it does look like his release point is off by quite a lot.
So Riles is on, and that means trouble will step to the plate with Will Clark. He's been on base twice. Hit his 27th home run in the first. Walked and scored, stole a base in inning number 3. Riles with the lead, and Clark takes up high, ball 1. The Astros have some activity in their bullpen. A right-hander warming up. I can't spot the man right now, though. Misses. 2 balls, no strikes. Scott has walked 4 in the game. He's given up 5 runs through 3 2/3. Clark takes outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
Now that's 8 straight balls thrown by Mike Scott. Something you don't normally see out of this right-hander.
And Clark takes inside ball 4. So 8 straight pitches out of the strike zone after he erased Brett Butler. And here comes Hal Lanier. And that may be it for Mike Scott. 5 walks. He has allowed 5 runs so far. The 2 on base belong to him. And here comes the right-hander. So not a very good performance by Mike Scott. He has lost his last 3 games, and he is in danger of losing number 4 unless his team can come back. We'll tell you all about Rocky Childress after we pause with the Giants leading 5-0.
Just give me honest work at honest pay, honest sweat from honest play, and when I'm through, that's when I'll say, I want my clean as real as I breathe. It's gotta be 99.44. I want my clean as real as I breathe. Nothing less, nothing more.
If you're looking for the real clean you can only get from a pure soap, you want Ivory.
It's gotta be pure, that's for sure. I want my clean as real as I breathe.
Imagine a twin who feels what you feel. You haven't had any experience until I've had it too. But does what you could never do.
Radical technology was required.
You mean to say there's 2 of them?
David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers, a new thriller from the director of The Fly.
Separation can be a terrifying thing.
Dead Ringers, rated R.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
After 30 years in business, there are very few things Mr. Fix-It can't fix. He just has that knack of understanding how things work. But having the right parts to make them work, well, that requires the world's most complete hardware store. This hardware store, 50,000 items strong. Good things happen when a store understands service. This one does.
The right item at the right price right now. Choose Orchard.
5-0. A couple of Giants fans in the stands, and we have plenty here at the Astrodome. Rocky Childress is the new pitcher, and he'll pitch to Candy Maldonado with Will Clark at first base and Ernest Riles at second base. Childress is 6'2", 195 pounds, from Santa Rosa, California. 26 years old. Throws inside to Candy Maldonado. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Childress tied his career high with 4 strikeouts against Atlanta at Fulton County Stadium on June 19th. But he spent much of this year at Tucson, had a record of 6-4 with a 3.3 earned run average. 43 games. He is just a reliever and throws high. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Not a bad earned run average for the PCL. Always known as a hitter's league.
I guess particularly in Albuquerque. 2-1 pitch way inside, and Candy Maldonado practically had to do a little limbo to get out of the way of that one.
Yeah, this ball follows Candy. As you can see, he's trying to get out of the way, and this ball just keeps running right in towards him. That will put you back on your heels.
3 balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, 2 runs already in. Giants up 5-0. We are in the 4th. And the pitch to Candy, swung on, loop to left field. That's a base hit. Here comes Riles. Here comes the throw from Poole. It will be cut off by Buddy Bell. It's a 6-0 San Francisco lead. And that run belongs to Mike Scott. The last time Scott lost to San Francisco was a year ago last Friday. He's really in danger. Look at the San Francisco smiles.
Well, Candy turns on a 3-1 pitch that is right on the inside corner. He dumps it in there. And Ernest Riles running as soon as Candy Maldonado swings with 2 outs. He scores easily. Giants lead 6-0.
Clark moves to second. Maldonado's at first. And here's Mike Aldretti. He's been on base twice in the ball game. A walk, a double, and an RBI. Again, that's Candy at first base. Will Clark at second. 2 outs. And here's the 1-0 pitch to Mike. Outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now for Candy, RBI number 63. Also, I'm sure Candy would like to get out of the 250s, hitting 259 coming into the game.
And Aldretti trying to go opposite field, fouls it off. He's behind the count 1-2.
See, pretty good scramble. Usually the adult is going to win in those situations.
Now he's got to give it to the little guy. No, he's going to hold on to him. He's going to give it to one of his girls. Come on, Dad. There you go.
I'd be embarrassed.
Fouled off again. It's 1-2. Same area, but this time Pop misses it.
How can you fight a little kid for a ball? I guess unless you've got some little kids yourself.
Well, he's even got the war stories. His daughter saying this is how you approached it. You knocked the 2 little guys out of the way. And there it was. Swing and a miss, and down goes Aldretti. So too the Giants, but they come up with 3 important runs in the inning. Faced by Don Robinson's first home run of the year, and Candy Maldonado's single to left field. It's Giants 6. The Astros nothing. We head to the bottom of the 4th.
Young from John Young Ford, where credit is no problem. We have special programs for first-time buyers, those of you recently divorced, in the military, or new to the area, even those of you recently bankrupt. Let us show you some of our examples. This 86 Toyota, only $49.95 or $91 a month, or better yet, this fabulous 1984 Subaru, only $46.95 or $84 a month. Call us at 932-2900. John Young Ford, what a guy!
Really, all I want.
Right. That's one of the nice things about our salad bar here at Sizzler.
Gee.
We've also added a tostada bar and a hot pasta bar.
And I can really have all I want?
Sure, and at a great low price.
Oh, what if I want a little dinner with my salad?
Well, just order one of our new mini entrees. Smaller portions that go with your salad.
Well, this really is all I want. Except for one thing.
What's that?
Someone to eat dinner with.
Sizzler, a fresh experience.
I said we won the division last year. Some people didn't believe me. Now I'm going to make another prediction. Good seats at Candlestick are going to be scarce this year, so get them now.
Be sure and catch the Giants' last homestand when they blast the Dodgers in a 3-game weekend series starting Friday, September 23rd at 7:35 with Saturday and Sunday games at 1:05. Then the Reds roll into town for 3 night games, all at 7:35 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Call Teletron now for your tickets to Giants baseball. 6-0 San Francisco has the lead. They've scored 2 runs in the first, 1 more in the third, 3 in the fourth, and they're beginning to run away with us. And we've got a great crew here at Houston. Done an outstanding job, directed by Jim Lynch. To lead off the bottom of the 4th, it's Terry Poole, and he picks a ride into this one, and Brett Butler up against the wall, runs it down.
Now, wrong part of the ballpark, especially here at the Astrodome. Not only does the ball not carry well here, but talking about 400 feet. Although Poole does hit it pretty well, but you start talking about the deepest part of the Astrodome, that's exactly where he hit it.
That takes us to Glenn Davis. Always good to see him up with the bases empty. 1 out. Davis takes on the inside corner, strike 1. Robinson has just been so tough as a starter this year. Ground ball foul. And he came into this ball game with 147 1/3 innings pitched. He has gone 3 1/3, so he's at 150. You need 162 to qualify for the earned run average title. And he likely will get that this year. And right now he's at 2.50 and dropping with a shutout here. Throws inside to Glenn Davis. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Take a look at that last ball hit into the Giants dugout. Some guys scattering, some guys not worried about it.
They're not doing a good job up high. And I say that in respect for you, because your job when you were with the Giants was to make sure Jack Clark did not get hit.
Well, and if I was on the bench while Jack was out on the field, then of course I would protect the starting pitcher for the next game.
See, always thinking ahead, always thinking of somebody else. 2-2, and Davis swings and misses, and Robinson has another strikeout, number 3 in the game. Boy, his breaking stuff has just been terrific.
And this is a pitch out of the strike zone, and as you can see, it really breaks sharply. And Davis, who has not had a good series against the Giants, he goes down.
He came in with 10 career home runs against San Francisco. Here's Buddy Bell, 1 for 1, and he hits one hard, but Ernest Riles picks it off and ends the inning. 1-2-3, the quiet Houston story here in the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We head to the 5th. It's the Giants 6 and Houston nothing.
I'm Tim Simmons, State Farm agent. One day my policyholders got the back of their family car banged up, but Van and Mary and the boys didn't have to miss any family outings. They reported their claim directly to me. Our claims people were on the job pronto, so that Van and Mary could get their car fixed fast. Now they know why more people think that State Farm is the best buy in car insurance. We keep things moving, so you can keep your family moving.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one.
Genuine draft anyone? About time.
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
Everyone knows certain times are better than others to buy a new car, especially when a dealer needs to clear out just a few of this year's models to make room for next year's. So if you're looking to make a great deal, this is a good time to talk to your Toyota dealer. With over 5,088 Toyotas in stock right now, we think he's in the mood to listen.
Robinson working on a 2-hit shutout over the Houston Astros. It's San Francisco 6, Houston nothing, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Francisco Giants and is solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the San Francisco Giants is prohibited.
Well, if you look at the numbers for Mike Scott, 3 2/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 walks, 1 strikeout. Remember those numbers. You may not ever see him again when he pitches against the Giants.
Boy, you were talking about how he would look so strong after getting by the first, second inning. He just never really looked that strong. Up, he was wide. He walked 4, 5 guys. And the pitch to Robbie Thompson is inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Robbie's hit the ball well twice.
And he's the only guy who has not been on base.
Robbie's
Brett Butler, excuse me.
Blown out twice to center
And he
field.
hits the ball hard to left field. Back goes Terry Poole. Look out here. He will leap. It's gone.
Well, welcome to the party, Robbie. Robbie 0 for 2 with 2 deep fly balls to Gerald Young. And he decided not to pick on the deepest part of the Astrodome. He goes right down the line. Poole is going to give it a valiant effort right here, but it's just going to be over the fence.
And Thompson has home run number 7 this year and RBI number 47. Childress has been stung. Mike Scott was stung. The Giants have hit 3 home runs in this game. One by Clark, one by the pitcher Don Robinson, and the other by Robbie Thompson, and here comes Kurt Manwaring. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored. It's 7-0 Giants, looking for their first sweep since 1979 at the Astrodome. Wow. And really not that many teams do that. This club always has a great record at home.
Giants taking some pretty good licks at home plate. Wouldn't be surprised at some point in the game if the Astros started to move some of the Giants hitters back off the plate.
Manwaring fouls it back. He's in the hole 1 and 2. Well, we thought Scott was doing that with Ernest Riles.
He may have had something in mind on the first couple of pitches, but then after that he just showed us that he was basically pretty wild, had totally lost his release point.
Kurt stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, hitting is infectious. You start seeing guys swinging and everybody starts to get pretty comfortable at home plate. And when the opposition sees that, regardless of what the score is, you can expect somebody to go down in the seat of their pants.
In there for strike 3, and Manwaring will take a seat. His second strikeout in the game. That takes us to Jose Uribe with 1 out.
See Kurt flinch a little bit on this breaking ball, and once that shoulder comes out, you're basically going to be in trouble.
Childress having his second strikeout of this game.
Get this guy's number.
Jeff Heathcock is warming up. Here's Uribe. 1 for 2. An infield single knocked the ball off Mike Scott's leg in inning number 2. So if things stay as they are, Scott will have lost his 4th in a row. Play Uribe to spray that ball left field side. A soft liner on 1 hop to Billy Doran. Throws out Uribe, 2 outs.
See Jose getting jammed on this pitch. He still manages to get around on it, and it is an easy 1-hopper to Billy Doran. Doran had to double clutch. Davis hadn't gotten to first base very quickly.
And that takes us to the big bopper, Don Robinson. His last time up, well, we've had 3 home runs hit in the game, and I think Robinson's went the farthest.
Well, it should. He's the biggest guy out of the bunch.
6'4", 235. Jumped all over Mike Scott, and he takes one on the outside corner. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. He is sacrificed. He's hit a 2-run home run. He's working on a shutout. He's trying to be the player of the game. Ground ball foul. That's 2 for Francisco.
Melendez protecting Uribe.
Matt Williams is in the wrong spot. He's protecting Perez Chica. Ground ball. Buddy Bell backs up. And that will retire the side, but not before the Giants come up with 1 more on Robbie Thompson's 7th home run of the year. It's 7-0. Roger Craig putting the right signs on this ball game thus far.
Tires. We know you don't think about them much, but man, what the right set can do for your car. Baby needs a new set of shoes. BF Goodrich TAs. We make your car perform.
My friends were right about Europe. It's definitely more fun than clients.
TWA means Rome.
I'm dealing with big issues, like where to have lunch.
TWA means Paris.
I'm learning new skills, like shopping and sitting around.
TWA means London. Significant restrictions may apply.
I tell you, this pressure's getting to me.
Today's TWA.
You know, when I pitched, I used to have trouble in the late innings, but I won't have any trouble pitching my favorite beer, Miller Lite. Light's less filling, and it's light's less filling, and it's light's less filling, and it's
That's it for today, Mike. Bad delivery.
Oh.
Hey, Raleigh, finish it up.
And it tastes great, too.
No matter how you pitch him, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Sparse crowd at the Houston Astrodome watching the San Francisco Giants enjoy a 7-0 lead over their Astros as we enter the bottom of the fifth. It will be Alan Ashby, Cameron Drew, and Rafael Ramirez.
Astros not a good ball club to have to come back from a lot of runs down. They rely mostly on speed. And when you get them 7-0, obviously that takes away a lot of their speed. And anytime you're down by that much, you have to look for the long ball once in a while to get you back in it quickly.
And they really only have one man in the lineup, Glenn Davis, that can give you the long ball. He's the only guy in the starting lineup today with double figures in home runs with 28. Ashby, his number this year, 7. And he hits a fly ball to left fielder Mike Aldretti. 1 out.
And the Astros are doing the Giants a little bit of a favor by swinging at a lot of first pitches. If you work Donnie Robinson real hard, you'll at least get yourself possibly ahead in the count, or at least to a full count. But with a 7-0 lead, Robbie is going to come in there, and he is basically going to let the Astros hit the ball.
Well, here's Cameron Drew, and he pops one foul. You know, we were talking about Drew and his power. He only had 7 home runs and 70 RBIs at Tucson. He did hit 354, but you take a look at his past numbers. He had 17 home runs last year and an 86 at Asheville, where he hit, I think, 354 as well. He had 26 home runs and 117 RBIs, and slaps one to Jose Uribe and is knocked down. And 2 quick outs, and Robinson just continues to breeze along.
Yeah, Uribe shading Drew to pull, playing right up the middle.
Let me ask you this, Dwayne. He's a guy 6'5". He was a fine basketball player as we take a look at his swing, but he has arthritis in his knees, and the Astros have been a little concerned about his power decrease this year. He had an arthritis problem earlier in July, and my question is, when you have knee problems, do you sometimes swing with your upper body and not so much with your legs?
Well, if your legs really bother you, yeah, it can alter your swing. It's just a shame that it happens to a player that's so young.
Ball, 1 strike.
But he has shown, as you mentioned, that he can hit with power, and you never know. Maybe, you know, 1988 for him was an off year power-wise. I certainly don't think the Astros are going to give up on the kid, because he did have some fine numbers.
Well, boy, he's making life difficult for Kevin Bass to get back in the lineup.
You know, I always use Robbie Thompson as an example. His numbers in the minor leagues were not that good. But boy, when he got to the big leagues, he proved that those numbers can be a little bit misleading.
Ramirez lines it out of the ballpark, and Don Robinson has lost his shutout as Rafael hits home run number 6 this year.
Well, as I mentioned, Donnie Robinson is not going to try to trick too many Astros hitters. He is going to come in there with the fastball. Ramirez, a good fastball hitter. And he hits this one right down the line, and he hit it hard. And now Ramirez in the series, 6 for 9.
And we'll have a pinch hitter for Rocky Childress, and that is Louis Meadows. Rafael Ramirez with home run number 6. It's a 7-1 ball game. Meadows takes high, ball 1. He had 254 at Tucson with 5 home runs, 9 triples, and 43 RBIs. And a couple of years ago, he was one of their golden nuggets in the minor leagues. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, he was inserted on Friday night as a pinch runner for Billy Dorn when the Astros had the bases loaded. Winning run on second, tying run on third with one out. His objective was to go into second base as hard as he could to try to tear up Robbie Thompson.
Strike outside corner, 1-2.
And he did go in very hard, but Robbie staying in there turned the double play to end the game.
Giants won that opener Friday. They won last night. Rick Russell getting number 19, and Louis Meadows goes to a right field. Maldonado is there, and that will end the inning. But the Astros come up with a run on one hit, the home run by Rafael Ramirez, and at the end of 5, it's 7-1 San Francisco.
Ah, the virtues of milk.
Someone named Heather.
Wow.
Hi.
Milk
Yeah,
helps
that's
supply
me.
potassium for normal heart activity.
Sure. Tomorrow night with
Ryan,
me.
I need the phone.
Magnesium for quick thinking.
I have access to a car.
Mommy's in here.
Wait, hold on.
Some carbohydrate to boost your energy level.
Who let this off the hook?
And milk has some thiamine.
Hello, Heather.
Help keep up your morale.
Hello?
Milk.
Heather?
It does a body good.
Enough. Deal. Did somebody say deal? Your Dodge dealer has hot numbers and big rebates on almost everything in stock. Get an imported Dodge Colt, save up to $989. Ram 50 pickup, save up to $1106. Or Dodge Vistas, save $500. So if you want a great deal, hey! Well, are you going to deal? Did somebody say deal?
We began the summer by asking who framed Roger Rabbit. Now we're asking, how did they do Roger Rabbit? It's the most amazing movie of its time, a mix of cell animation and live action that creates pure magic. Well, we're going to pull the rabbit out of the hat, or in this case, coat, and show you just how it works. Come behind the scenes with KTVU's Bob Shaw for an incredible look at the making of Roger Rabbit. Tonight at 6:30 on Channel 2.
Giants lead the Astros 7-1. Don Robinson had a shutout going until Rafael Ramirez hit his home run. And it's now a 7-1 ball game. We've got ourselves a new pitcher, Dave Meads. His record this year, 3 wins, no losses, a 2.76 earned run average. And this is appearance number 20 on the year. He also has 1 start and pitched pretty well. 32 2/3 innings. He has given up 28 hits and has allowed 4 home runs.
Pinch hitter for Brett Butler, Donnell Nixon.
Golly, Brett has played so many games this year. He has to be a little worn out. And it's good to see Donnell Nixon get a chance to get in there. It's low ball 1.
It's like Rogers going to clean off the bench. Matt Williams coming out to the on-deck circle to replace Ernest Riles.
Nixon swings away. 1 ball, 1 strike. And when I think of Dave Meads and watch him step up there, I remember the game last year against the Giants. 9th inning, bottom of the 9th, Maldonado leads off, hits a home run. Clark follows and hits an upper deck shot that was way up there. And just watch that ball, and Meade just steamed on the mound.
Well, if there was a turning point in the season, that may have been one of them. That particular ball game, the Giants were way down. I think they were down 4-0 or 5-0. Came back to win it.
And Donnell Nixon hits the ball hard. Gerald Young with a late break watches it drop in front of him. There's a base hit for Nixon.
Now Gerald Young broke straight back because Nixon swung so hard. Watch Nixon. He will not get cheated on this swing. He lets it go. He hits it right off the end of the bat. Consequently, Young, who had broken back, had no chance of coming in to make the play.
You know, Roger Gregg was saying Donnell Nixon in batting practice will hit so many long balls out of here and then looks like maybe a little bit different hitter when he steps up to the plate. Here's Matt Williams. He's pinch hitting for Ernest Riles. After Riles went 1 for 2, getting on base twice, scoring 2 runs. Nixon with the lead at first base. Not going, and Williams takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Williams has been struggling in this month of September. He's seen his average drop to 200. He has 6 home runs and 16 RBIs. He has plenty of power.
I think what happened, Steve, is teams around the league figured out the book on Matt Williams.
Fouls it off. 2-1.
And that is, you don't have to throw Matt strikes to get him out. He will chase a lot of bad balls, and he's especially vulnerable to the breaking ball.
Is he the type of player you would like to see play winter ball?
Well, you know, that is usually up to the organization, but from a personal standpoint, I think that young players, if they can, should take advantage of playing in the offseason. They're going to get a chance to get a lot of at-bats, something that they can't do in the United States unless they play an instructional league, and usually that only happens for about a month. But I know it helped me not only get to the big leagues, but to stay there.
How many years did you play?
I played 4 years of winter baseball.
Matt Williams hits the ball hard. Gerald Young goes back. He's at the warning track and makes the catch. Nixon retreats to first base. Well, when he hits the ball, he has a pretty swing.
Now, this is the swing you're talking about. Watch how Matt will cock that front foot. That's his timing device.
Really stayed in there that time. And here's Will Clark. Been on base all 3 times, 2 walks and a 2-run home run. And right now would be the game-winning RBI.
You know, the other thing about winter ball, Steve, is in those days, if you went to winter ball, it really helped out the young players salary-wise, as you could make some pretty good money in the Latin countries. Nowadays, I don't think that with the minimum salary at about $65,000, players don't have to worry too much about an off-season job.
But just to further your career and to get ahead, why would you not welcome that opportunity, particularly if you're a single guy?
Well, I hear so many players nowadays say, well, I really want to sit back and enjoy the off-season. Well, you know, there are a lot of players that I played with that didn't feel that way. They wanted to enjoy the off-season by playing.
Fouled off. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, I think Matt is going to have to work on some things, and I'm sure that the Giants are going to try to get Matt, maybe change some things in his stance, and maybe just try to get into his head a little bit to see what he's thinking when he's standing in the batter's box. He's got a lot of tools.
Clark takes inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Boy, they work him gingerly. Who was on that team, your Winter League team?
Well, Phil Garner, who is on the Giants ball club, Enos Cabell, who is an announcer here, Davey Concepcion, Lyman Bostock.
And Will Clark walks for the 3rd time in this game, and he has now walked 94 times this year. And the Giants could have 2 guys with, they probably will have 2 guys, Brett Butler and Will Clark, with 100 runs scored and 100 walks this year.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out, and I think before the Giants get off this road trip, to see how many players have walked 100 times, have driven in 100 runs, and there's another 100 plateau for Will, if I can find it.
100 strikeouts?
Scoring 100 times. So those are 3 pretty good century marks.
And I go to negative. Sorry about that.
Tried to work with
getting all the 100s in there.
Tried to work with you that all year, Fizz.
Well, the Giants have the lead 7-1. Candy Maldonado stands in there. He's been on base twice, a walk. You see the single. He's driven in a run. Checks his swing, but it caught the corner. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Nixon's at second. Will Clark's at first. Nixon led the inning off with a base hit. Matt Williams fly to deep center field. Will Clark walked. Is the 6th walk allowed by Houston pitchers in this game. Inside corner, 1-2.
I'm wondering what's going through the mind of Hal Lanier. I think that Lanier probably realizes that if the Giants do pass the Astros in the standings, the organization here in Houston may be thinking about making a change anyway, but certainly would be a blow to the Astros if the Giants finish ahead of them.
In there for strike 3, and Candy is gone.
See, Candy gets caught looking on this backdoor breaking ball. Candy gives up on it when Meads releases that breaking ball, but it sneaks right over the outside corner.
4th strikeout in the game by Houston pitchers, and the first by Dave Meads. So 2 outs now, and he'll try it with Billy Doran. Joel Youngblood will come in to pinch hit for Mike Aldretti. San Francisco leading 7-1 from the top of the 6th inning. Don Robinson has been the star thus far, working a strong 5 innings and also hitting a 2-run home run.
Joe Youngblood was also on that team in Venezuela that I played on. Fine experience for players that go to winter ball with the right attitude. And that attitude, of course, is not to think that you're on vacation, because you do have to play for the teams that are paying you, and you have to be able to show these ball clubs in Latin America that you are there for a purpose, to help that club win, but also to work on some things that you need to work on to help your play when you get back to the States. Lanier makes the call. Meads is gone. And at that point, I really needed to work on my double play, how to turn the double play at second base.
Wayne, you were saying that in winter ball, there's a certain closeness that sometimes does not exist in the States. Why?
Well, with the language difference, you find out that all the Americans on your team, you know, they do everything in a group. And, you know, everybody has dinner together, everybody goes out together. In those days, I think we had 10 Americans on that particular ball club. And you really do become a family because, like I said, with those countries speaking the Spanish language, you know, you have to do everything as a group. Not only that, but you end up spending, you know, the 2 very important holidays of Thanksgiving and Christmas away from your family. So now you end up having to share those holidays with your second family, and that family being the guys that you play with.
Well, here is Jeff Heathcock, and he comes on to replace Dave Meads, who replaced Rocky Childress, who replaced Mike Scott. San Francisco leading 7-1. And to give you some numbers on Jeff Heathcock, he comes in with a record of 0-3 and an earned run average of 5.6. This is appearance number 15 for Jeff. 22 1/3 innings. He's allowed 25 hits, 19 runs, 14 of those have been earned. He has walked 10, he has struck out 9, and opposing batters are hitting .291 off of him. And he comes on with runners in first and second, 2 outs. Donnell Nixon with great speed at second base. Will Clark's at first, and Joel Youngblood is the batter. Youngblood goes after the first pitch and swings and misses. Heathcock, 6'4", 205 from Covina, California. He's the club's first pick in the June 1980 draft. Tap foul, and Joel's behind the count. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the Giants will travel to Atlanta after today's ball game, and in Atlanta it'll be the youngster Trevor Wilson going against Rick Mailer on Monday, and then another youngster, left-hander Dennis Cook, will go against Kevin Blankenship, and for Blankenship that'll be his major league debut. I don't know if you noticed, Steve, that against the Houston Astros, none of those youngsters pitched, and I think that is out of respect for the Los Angeles Dodgers. When you're playing a team that is still in contention, you don't want to throw any of those young kids at them. Use your veterans.
Pitch to Youngblood. He swings and misses, and down goes Joel. And in the inning, no runs, a hit, 2 left, and the score at the end of 5.5. It's 7-1 San Francisco.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Memories. Nothing evokes them like the house they grew up in. The first stairway he climbed, the first railing they peeked through, the first banister she floated down. All part of the reason the Allstate Home Replacement Cost Guarantee exists. To help rebuild your home, whatever the cost, right down to the spot where Dad hung his hat. The Allstate Home Replacement Cost Guarantee. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
People ask me if I am still hungry that flamenco dancing was excluded from the Olympic Games. Me? Hungry? No! Which means, of course, at least I can enjoy a great tasting Miller Lite.
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
Tonight on Married with Children.
My wedding ring! It's gone! We gotta get something out of Zorro's pants.
Tonight at 8:30 on Channel 2.
Back at the Astrodome, the Giants leading 7-1, and we'd like to tell you, be sure not to miss it Sunday, September 25th, when the Giants say thank you to their fans throughout the Giants-Dodgers 105 game. The Giants will be giving away prizes as part of Fan Appreciation Day. You can sign up at Dugout Stores, the executive office, or call Teletron right now for tickets to Fan Appreciation Day, Sunday, September 25th.
All right, some defensive changes for San Francisco. Chris Spire coming in for Robbie Thompson at second base. Matt Williams takes over for Ernest Riles at third. Joe Youngblood is now in left field for Mike Aldretti. And Donnell Nixon is in center field for Brett Butler. So it'll be Youngblood, Butler, Candy Maldonado in the outfield, Williams, Uribe, Chris Spire, and Will Clark on the infield. And the battery remains the same. John Robinson working with Kurt Manwaring. And here's the first pitch of the bottom of the 6th. Gerald Young, 0 for 2 in the game. Hits one hard, but Candy Maldonado is near the warning track for the first out.
Now you see Gerald Young, he'll get the head of the bat out, but Young, with not a lot of power, drives Candy Maldonado back. Be tough for Young in this ballpark to hit a home run unless it's of the inside the park variety.
Well, that takes us to Billy Doran. He swings and sends it the opposite way. Strike one.
You know, we came into the series, Gerald Young needed 1 stolen base to break the Astros record in stolen bases. Cesar Cedeno holds that record with 61. Young has tied that record, but he hasn't been on base enough to try to get that record. Got some fans here that have good hands. Ball is finding the glove on a regular basis here.
Doran sends a fly ball to center field. Nixon, 2 outs. Well, the Giants just shutting down the Houston Astros in this series. They won the opener. They won again yesterday. And Don Robinson is dominating them here again this afternoon, leading 7-1.
9 of the outs recorded by the Giants have been balls that have been hit in the air. Pretty good example that Donnie Robinson likes to use that high fastball.
And he throws strike one to Terry Poole. Boy, Poole holds that bat. He used to hold it really close to his body. Now checks his swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. He's from Canada and grew up playing hockey, and they said he has just incredibly strong forearms. Strike 1 and 2.
Robbie working the outside part of the plate to Poole. See if he comes back in.
Poole pops it up. On the infield, on comes Nixon, and he'll call up Chris Spire. And Don Robinson is through 6 now. He's given up just 1 run. That's a home run by Rafael Ramirez. And San Francisco and Don own a 7-1 lead. We'll come back in the 7th with Ron Fairley and Dwayne Kuiper.
There's good news and bad news. First, the bad news. 3 out of 4 unsuspecting people will get gingivitis, an early form of gum disease. Now, the good news. Listerine Antiseptic is the only non-prescription mouthwash accepted by the American Dental Association for its significant help in preventing and reducing plaque and gingivitis. And Listerine still kills bad breath germs. So brush, floss, and use Listerine. It's good news for you, bad news for gingivitis.
Competition, 1 step ahead in the best position.
It's year-end clearance time at your Toyota dealers, and we've got to sell thousands of 88 models to make room for the new 89. This is your last chance to get the 4Runner, pickup, or van of your choice at 88 prices. So don't wait. See your Northern California Toyota dealer today.
Toyota's got to jump in, we're jumping.
How much money could a street gang make from smuggling cigarettes? A band like this, a gang could make enough money to buy 185 handguns every week. Past year, gangs have killed over 200 people, many of them innocent children. More guns might not cause more murders, but is it worth taking the chance that even one more innocent person may be killed? Proposition 99 would create major crime. California doesn't need any more crime. Vote no on Proposition 99.
Jeff Heathcott on the mound for the Houston Astros. The Giants are leading 7-1, top of the 7th inning. And you can see some of the construction here going on at the Astrodome. They have taken out that big scoreboard that they used to shoot all kinds of fireworks off. And I think there was, I don't know, a bull out there, and he had stuff coming out of his nose and all that good stuff. But that's gone. They're going to put new seats and a new scoreboard in that section. Here's Ron Fairley.
Okay, it'll be Chris Spire to lead things off as we go to the Giants half of the inning, and there is strike 1. Giants leading by a score of 7-1. Now playing second base for the Astros, Casey Candell. He takes over for Bill Doran. The 0-1 pitch in the way, and that's a bit inside. Seven runs on 9 hits for the Giants. 1 run on 3 hits for the Astros. And that is into right field. Cameron Drew waiting for it. And that is out number 1. Pinch hitting for Kurt Manwaring. Here is Bob Melvin coming to the plate. This is getting to resemble a spring training game with all the changes. While Manwaring was in the game, went 1 for 3. Yeah, now here is Bob Melvin, 8 home runs and 26 RBIs. And there's ball 1.
Now both Bob Brenly and Bob Melvin not seeing a whole lot of action on this road trip, as Manwaring has been doing not most of the catching, but all of the catching.
High high in the air into left field. Terry Poole should handle this one. And Melvin is out number 2. It is tough to take Manwaring out of the lineup when your team is working now on a 6-game winning streak.
Pretty tough to change the lineup at all.
When you're getting that great pitching and you got somebody behind the plate putting down the correct numbers.
Not only that, but he's swinging the bat pretty well, too.
So 2 men are gone here in the 7th inning. Here's the shortstop, Jose Uribe. Jose 1 for 3 this afternoon. And there is ball 1. Giants with 2 runs in the 1st inning on a 2-run homer by Clark. A double by Al Juddy drove in a run in the 3rd. Giants rolled out 3 runs in the 4th. A big blow there. Don Robinson with a 2-run homer. There's a ground ball to second base. Candell to Davis, and it's a very easy inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Giants in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Go to the bottom half of the inning. Giants leading 7-1.
After a long day of eating hot lead, there's nothing better than drinking a cold Miller Lite. Light sure tastes great, and it really is less filling.
Shoot, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Hey, Joe, give me another. That didn't fill me up at all.
It's car clearance time in America with extraordinary money-saving deals, even on Chrysler New Yorker Landau, a luxury car that has what Rolls-Royce and Mercedes do not have. Better protection on the entire car. That's because only Chrysler New Yorker Landau offers standard the Crystal Key program. Own the superb Chrysler New Yorker Landau now at special clearance savings. Buy one at your Bay Area Chrysler Plymouth dealers today.
You know how early last season the Reds said they'd taken the heart out of the Giants. You know what we did to them after that? And you know what I say.
For the fan who has everything, check out one of the Giant dugout stores. They have 3 very convenient locations for you. At 170 Grant Avenue in San Francisco, the Ceremony Center in Daly City, and Valley Fair in San Jose. Drop by and check them out. They have an assortment of unique team items. Don Robinson goes back to the mound. Right now he has a 6-run lead on which to work. Giants leading 7-1 here in the 7th inning. It'll be Davis, Bell, and Ashby.
We had a trivia question for the fans, and that question was, name the player who holds the record for most World Series hits. Well, the guy in the ballpark today, Yogi Berra, was 71. He appeared in 75 games as a player in the World Series. 71 for 259. Not too shabby.
Here's Davis, and he swings the first pitch and shoots one the gap into right center field. That's going to get down for extra bases. Maldonado with a relay back to the infield. Lead-off double by Davis.
Now, once again, Astros swinging at Robinson's first pitch. Glenn Davis with a leadoff double. I suppose the pessimist here would say that's a little too late, Glenn. He's had a tough series.
He has had a tough year against San Francisco. He has not done that well against them. Here is Bell standing in. He is 1 for 2. And there is strike 1. Davis coming into the game batting just 125 against San Francisco pitching. Just misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Glenn Davis still an outside shot at getting close and passing up Will Clark for the RBI title. Davis with 94. Will, with a couple a day, has 102.
1-1 pitch to center field. Donnell Nixon getting in position, makes the catch, And holding at second base is Davis. There's a shot of Yogi. That he might be the best bad ball hitter ever played the game.
And if you judge a guy on how he looks in a uniform, you'd never think that he could play a lick.
He ended up with over 350-some home runs in his career. He was a very good catcher, very good receiver, and of course he had a good staff there with the Yankees for so many years to work with. And I know he has helped this fellow right here, Alan Ashby, behind the plate. Ashby hits one well to right center field. Nixon on the warning track. Hauls it in. Davis is going to go to third. 2 men gone. And coming to the plate now is Cameron Drew, the Astros right fielder.
Now, a lot of balls hit to the warning track today. This is another one from the bat of Alan Ashby, as he just could not get the bat out in front. Had he done that, he probably would have hit it out of the park. Once again, deepest part of the Astrodome. Said that a few times today.
Top 2 one out of here. Here's Cameron Drew. He is 0 for 2. And that is outside for a ball. You know, back in the first inning when Riles tripled into the right field corner, Cameron Drew was playing off the fence, waiting for the ricochet. Well, if you look at the fences, it's padded. The ball hit the fence and stayed in the corner, and that allowed Riles to go around to third. And the ball hit down the right field side, and that'll go into the crowd.
Not too many padded fences in AAA, I guess.
Well, that's right. Down there in Tucson, they've got a concrete wall. You should know that.
But your point well taken. If you even spend one day in this ballpark, you should go out and try to figure out how the ball is going to ricochet off of those things, if it indeed ricochets at all.
1 ball and 1 strike. Popped him up into shallow left field. Uribe going back. Youngblood coming in. And Joel takes care of that. And the Astros in the 7th inning. No runs on a leadoff double by Davis. We go to the 8th inning. Giants leading 7-1.
One of the biggest drawbacks in today's performance is the sluggishness caused by dirty intake systems. So we developed Chevron Supreme, the high-octane gasoline with Tech-Relief. No additive cleans entire intake systems better. Now you'll be free to move ahead without any drawbacks. Chevron, we fuel your freedom.
I think this trip's getting to Mom and Dad. They've been acting strange.
TWA means New York.
They've been yelling at me in days, and I haven't been that good.
TWA means Boston.
The other day, I caught them holding hands.
TWA means Washington. Significant restrictions may apply.
You know, they're really pretty nice once you get to know them.
Today's TWA.
You wouldn't back out on your baby brother now, would you?
Me?
Hey, here it comes.
I see it. All right. She's all mine now. Hand her over. Right here? Hey, deal's a deal. I can't believe I agreed to this.
When a truck is built to last, like a Toyota, there's no telling how many times you'll hand it down.
That? Thank you.
Long-lasting Toyota quality. Who could ask for anything more?
Giants leading by a score of 7-1 as we go to their half of the inning. And it'll be Kevin Mitchell to lead things off. He'll be followed by Nixon and then Williams. National League batting leaders, as you can see right now, tied for first place, Tony Gwynn and Gerald Perry. As it looks like there's a possibility that only 2 or 3 guys may bat 300 in the National League this year. Look at that. Butler in the race. He is 7th in the league. And Brett this afternoon went 0 for 3. But look at that. Not very many guys in the National League going to be batting 300. Gwynn last year led the league with an average of 370. Here's the pinch hitter, Kevin Mitchell. And there's a pitch high.
Pitching has been very, very good in the National League.
How can it be so bad one year and so good this year? What's that?
Well, I said it before, and I really still think it's true. A lot of the young pitching stars starting to really develop, from the David Cohns to the Maddox in Chicago, who had a great start. He has suffered a little bit since the All-Star break. And then with your veteran pitchers, they're also having fine years. So that combination, I think, has really put the averages down in the National League. Quite the opposite in the American League.
2-1 pitch. And the count is 3-1. Three balls and one strike. And Mitchell fouls this one back out of play. Kevin batting .253. I'm not too sure that Roger Craig couldn't start him in a game or two. I know Kevin certainly would like to get back into the action. 3-2 pitch. And that was high, ball 4. So Mitchell draws a base on balls to lead things off here in the 8th inning. So Kevin Mitchell with a base on balls. He comes out of the ball game. We're going to have a pinch runner for him. Tony Perez-Chica comes in the game. And he will run for Mitchell. Once again, looks like a spring training game. Nixon waiting. And the pitch on the way. Hit toward third by Bell into left field. And holding at second base is Perez-Chica. Nixon is 2 for 2.
See Buddy Bell in position. And Buddy, like just off the end of his glove. And as Ron mentioned, Nixon, since coming into the game, 2 for 2.
But you can also see the speed of the AstroTurf too. Perez-Chica holding at second base. Here's Matt Williams. Matt 0 for 1. And is fooled on the curveball. Out of 0-1. Matt with 6 home runs, 16 runs driven in. He probably has done the best against this team right here. He's hit a couple of home runs and driven in 8 runs against the Astros here in '88. And that is hit high and well to left center field. And it is going to be Poole making the play. Both runners tag and both runners move up 90 feet. So Matt Williams came very close to hitting his 3rd home run against them. And here is Will Clark coming to the plate.
See Matt Williams getting fully extended, and when you see Matt Williams hit a ball in the air, and when he hits it pretty well, the ball has a tendency to carry as they're going to walk. Clark intentionally, and watching Terry Poole try to catch that ball, he thought he was under it, then he had to go back, and once again he thought he was under it, and he just had to continue to go back because Matt Williams' ball, when it comes off the bat, has a way of carrying, a lot of backspin.
There is ball 3 to Will Clark. This is the 4th straight time that Clark will be walked. And they're going to take their chances with Maldonado. There's ball 4.
Al Hellenier punishing Will for hitting that home run in the 1st inning.
And plus the fact the way the game has gone, you don't want to pitch to him anyway. You want somebody else in the Giant lineup to try to do the damage. Can you imagine the kind of year that Clark would have if they had somebody hitting behind him that was doing almost the same thing that he was doing?
Will coming in with 91 base on balls, now is 95.
That's tops of the league. Here's Maldonado, and he takes ball 1. Candy today He is 1 for 3. He has driven in a run. 95 base on balls for Will.
Pretty sure Will would reach 100 in that department.
1-0 pitch. Outside, ball 2. One man gone here in the inning. Giants have bases loaded. They lead 7-1. And Candy, 63 RBIs, and safely in 7 of the last 8 games. Outside, ball 3. Nothing doing out of the Astros bullpen, and right now Jeff Heathcock falling behind. He has to throw a strike here. And the Giants with the luxury, you can go ahead and let Candy hit. 3-0. One swing of the bat can really blow this thing wide open. High and inside, he walked in. And so the strategy, I know, has to burn Hal Lanier, because you intentionally walk Clark to get to Maldonado, and then you can't throw a strike to Maldonado. And Maldonado is going to come out of the game. Here comes Charlie Hayes in, and he will pinch run for Candy. But Candy picks up an RBI. It is now 8-1.
That's 9 walks delivered by the Astros pitchers in this afternoon's game. Also, Ron, we're talking about Will Clark. He had 91 runs scored coming in, now with 93. So he is slowly reaching those century marks in a couple departments.
Base hit into left field. 1 run will score. Here comes Clark around. He's going to score. And it is now 10-1. So the round is on. Youngblood comes through with a base knock. He drives in a pair.
And as you mentioned, a lot of it set up because they chose to intentionally walk Will Clark. See Joel taking advantage of a bases loaded situation, picking up a couple of RBIs. And as Ron said, it's a lapper. 10-1.
Here's Chris Spire, and he sends one into right field. Cameron Drew, fighting the lights, makes the play, and the runners hold. It was not an easy play. The Astrodome lights, like several of the new stadiums, can be a little tough sometimes. And especially in balls hit into right center and left center.
Watch the reaction of Cameron Drew. Backed off at the last minute. And then he makes a strong throw into second base. Charlie Hayes had wanted off a little bit. But in that situation, the base runner will go halfway and then come back.
Here is Melvin. He is 0 for 1. On a check swing. Tries to hold up and fouls it away. Ten runs on 11 hits. And we have a right-hander throwing in the bullpen for the Astros now. Melvin takes a fastball inside. 1 ball to 1 strike. After the game, Giants move on to Atlanta, where they're getting ready for a 2-game series there. Trevor Wilson and Dennis Cook, a couple of young left-handers, will be going for the Giants. 1-1 pitch. Melvin swings and misses, and the count is 1-2 to him.
Well, you get the combination, Ron, of 11 base hits by the Giants and then 9 walks from the Astros pitchers. That looks like a good formula for it to be a lapper.
Next pitch popped up behind home plate. Ashby may have a play. He's got it, and down go the Giants in their half of the inning. 3 runs on 2 hits. A couple of men left. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. 10-1 Giants.
You know, when I played football, people said I was one tough player. But I not only outmuscled the other guy, I outsmarted him. I used my head. And a guy like me enjoys drinking Miller Lite, because Lite's the less filling beer that tastes great. But the best thing about Miller Lite is that it shows a tough guy like me can still use his head.
Well, how's that, Gary?
You hit it right on the head. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
You know what really burns me up? My feet. Athlete's foot kept flaring up. I get rid of it for a while, but it just flare up again. Finally went to the doctor. He told me to get Tenactin. It's what doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Tenactin even cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly like they tell you. It'll keep the fly from coming back.
Fast-acting Tenactin puts athlete's foot out for good.
Our dad's the new host of the Family Feud, and you should watch, because he's the best. I like Vanna. She's adopted.
Family Feud, starting Monday at 7:30 on Channel 2.
Giants leading by a score of 10-1 as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Several changes for the Giants. Now playing at first base is Francisco Melendez. At second base is Tony Perez Chica. You can see Melendez there. Perez Chica now playing second base. At shortstop, moving from second over to short, is Chris Spire. Now playing out in left field is Charlie Hayes. And moving from left field to right field is Joe Youngblood. Several changes.
And we will have a quiz on that later.
Yeah, that's right. We'll have a quiz on him. Here is Roger Samuels in the ball game, and he starts Ramirez off with strike one. One ball to one strike.
Now the idea for Roger Samuels is just to come in and throw some strikes. You see his earned run average pretty high, above 5. And maybe a little extra incentive for Samuels as he was released by the Houston Astros a couple of years ago.
Hit into left center field, and Nixon takes care of that one. One man gone. First time they've got Ramirez out. And we're going to have a pinch hitter coming into the plate. Here, coming to the plate, John Fishel. He is going to be batting for the pitcher spot. How's your scorecard look?
Not very good. It looks like my son used a crayon.
You can see John Fishel, a home run, 1 RBI, batting .250. And Samuel starts him off strike one. Breaking ball inside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Fishel run with a home run and an RBI, so it looks like he probably collected his first major league hit and his first major league home run since he's been called up.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Nice to do it all in your first at bat if he did indeed do that.
Samuels out of the stretch, and that is hit down the left field line, hooking, foul. 2-2. Some numbers on Don Robinson. He goes 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Does not walk anybody, and he strikes out 3. And right now he's on his way of picking up his 8th victory of the year. Giants with 2 runs in the first, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 3 in the 8th. High and outside. Full count, 3-2. Giants who played long ball today. Clark has homered, his 27th of the year. Bobby Thompson hitting number 7, and Don Robinson hitting a 2-run homer. There's a call, strike 3 on the inside corner. Fishel strikes out, 2 men gone in the 8th. And here is the center fielder, Gerald Young, coming to the plate.
Well, on the full count, you see Fishel talking to himself a little bit. Not the only player that's ever done that.
There is strike one to Young. In fact, Samuel starting everybody off with strike one. There have been a lot of us that have said things like that. 1-1 strike. And some a little bit more. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Young, who is now on the right side of the plate. Young has hit safely in 10 of the last 11 games. Fouls it away, and the count remains at 1-2.
Having a tough series. He's 1 for 12. I was mentioning while you were over with Wayne Hagan doing radio, he had a chance, and he probably will break Cesar Cedeno's stolen base record for the Astros. He just hasn't been on base enough this series to even do it.
Got him with the off-speed pitch, and down go the Astros 1-2-3 here in the 8th. We go to the 9th inning. Giants very much in command. They lead 10-1.
Fish. Now it's seafood. To me, it's still fish, but it sure tastes good. Real good. Since the wife started shopping Safeway's Fish Market.
There's a reason for that. Nobody sells more fresh seafood than we do. We boat it in, fly it in, truck it in every day. Depend on it. If it's fresh and available, Safeway's got it. That's Safeway Service Plus.
Special things we do, especially for you, we're Safeway.
Being neutral, the Swiss enjoy the best of all worlds. Cars from Italy. Clothes from Paris. Shoes from England. And from America, Old Spice Liquid Stick, a new antiperspirant. With the smoothness of a roll-on and the speed of a stick, it also combines the best of all worlds for total protection. After all, nothing's more important to the Swiss than good relations. Old Spice Liquid Stick, the world's most advanced form of protection.
Nice slacks, Charlie. Gonna be ready for the party tonight?
Sure. They'll be done in minutes.
You're kidding.
Who are you talking to?
My friend Charlie. He's a billboard for CNR.
A billboard?
Yep, a billboard. You like my new slacks?
Buy slacks at C&R, and if all you need is the bottoms tailored, we'll finish them free while you wait. C&R, because you deserve more.
Giants leading by a score of 10-1 as we go to the 9th inning. And it will be Melendez as we get a shot of Dwayne Kuiper's scorecard. And those are just some of the changes.
It's ugly, I can tell you that. Now, if you asked me to recap what had happened, it would probably take me the same amount of time as it did to play this game. Obviously, the red marks the number of times the Giants have scored, and when you see that, that's good.
Here's Francisco Melendez, and he hits one hard wide of first base foul. First plate appearance for Francisco Melendez. On the mound is a right-hander, Brian Meyer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Melendez went to Phoenix this year and had a very good season down there. As he takes outside ball 2. Melendez at Phoenix batted .361. He is a line drive hitter. Hit only 4 home runs, drove in 58. Sprays the ball around. 2-1 pitch. And it's now 3-1.
Now Melendez realizes that his spot in the organization played by Will Clark. So it's going to be tough for him to break into the starting lineup. Maybe tough is not even the proper word. Just has to realize, Ron, that there are other teams around that are looking for good players.
Well, that is true. And the way that this young man can swing the bat, especially in the American League, the designated hitter and all. whacked into left field. Poole will take care of that one. That's out number 1. Brings up the second baseman, Tony Perez-Chica.
Melendez has a nice swing. He is not a pull hitter. You see he goes with the pitch as that ball is on the outside part of the plate. Not too many dead pull hitters around anymore.
Very few. Here's Tony. And he pops it up foul down the right field side and back out of play. Meyer, the 5th pitcher used by the Astros this afternoon. Giants on their way to winning their 6th straight and a sweep of the Houston Astros. 0-2.
Yeah, you see the one thing about Tony Perez-Chica, he does not take a lot of pitches. He struck out over 100 times in AAA. He does not get cheated at home plate. Not that that's good. I think the Giants would like to see him strike out a lot less. Especially if you're a middle infielder. His number's a lot like Robbie Thompson, where Robbie strikes out quite a lot. Tony the same way.
Tapper toward third. Bell coming in. And he throws out Perez-Chica. 5-3 in the put out. 2 men gone. Our next telecast, it'll be the Giants and the Dodgers from Dodger Stadium on the 30th, 1st and 2nd. And you can follow us on most of these stations.
See Buddy Bell playing third base, charging the ball. Watch how quickly he gets rid of it. Boom, boom. You're out.
Go sit down. Here is Nixon, and there is ball 1. Nixon 2 for 2. He scored in the 8th inning. Meyer ready, and the pitch. Swung on, a slow roller along the third base side. Meyer's going to have to hurry. Not in time. 3 for 3 for Nixon. And what a tremendous asset speed is. Brian Meyer taking just a bit too much time.
Well, if Meyer could have fielded this barehanded, it would have been a tough play. He probably would have had a better shot at Nixon. When Nixon tops the ball, you just cannot waste any time. You have to try to cut corners. And Meyer, fielding that ball with 2 hands, just had no chance.
Here is Matt coming to the plate, and he takes strike 1. Matt is flied out to center. He's flied out to left. Giants leading. Very handily. They're leading by a score of 10-1. To third, backhanded by Bell. Quick release. And Lex Williams is out. Down go the Giants in the 9th. No runs on a base hit. Man is left. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. 10-1 San Francisco.
Eagle dealer answers the question, what is an eagle? How fast do eagles fly? What do eagles share? Now, where do they nest? Just look up, America.
Now at your California Jeep Eagle dealer, where you can expect the best from the best.
Pity! Once again, the magnificent sport of shuffleboard has been excluded from the Olympic Games. What rubbish! Oh, well, nothing like a great-tasting Miller Lite while I wait till 92.
Shuffleboard?
Would you mind?
Thank you so much.
I say, good shuffle.
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
At these dealers, it's the great rebate of '88. Get back up to $40 on a set of 4 select BF Goodrich TA radios for your car or truck. Now is the time to cash in on great performing BF Goodrich TAs, because at these dealers you can save up to $40 during the great rebate of '88. BF Goodrich TA radios built to make your car or truck perform. So hurry into these dealers. The great rebate of '88 ends October 15th.
We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Giants very much in command. They lead by a score of 10-1, and they are on their way to sweeping the Houston Astros. On the mound is now pitching for the Giants is Ron Davis. Samuels works just 1 inning and zeros across. He struck out 2, and we just heard this last half inning. If you don't think that Hal Lanier is very irate and mad right now, they announced that the Astros are going to have a clubhouse meeting after the game, and the Astros are going to have a workout when this thing is over. And I'll tell you what, there are going to be some things said in that Houston clubhouse that I don't think I want to hear.
I'd say it'd be a real good day for the reporters around the Houston Astro area. They're going to have a lot of things to talk about.
Casey Candell, and the bat slips out of his hand. But I tell you what, I don't ever recall being on a ball club in which you played the ball game and the manager had a workout after the game. You may have a workout on a day off, and he is not very happy. Right back to Davis. And that is out number 1.
Well, it sounds to me like, Ron, it's a workout basically to show you who's boss. And
that's if the report that we hear is accurate. And if they just announce that in the club, in the press box.
And if that's the case, I think those things have a real negative effect. Players know who the boss is. They don't need the boss to show them.
Here's ball 1 to Terry Poole. He's 0 for 3. I'm trying to figure out what you're going to accomplish. Foul down the left field line. Well, I think all he has to do is just say, fellas, are you happy with the way you're playing? Look at the scoreboard. You guys just have been swept by the Giants. And if you're happy with that, then go ahead and shower.
Well, it may have something to do with the Dodgers coming into town for tomorrow, but I don't think you need a meeting to get yourself up to play the L.A. Dodgers.
2 balls and a strike. I imagine we're going to hear a little bit more about this. Get off the hands and fouled away. Well, in this series, the Astros have been beaten 5-4 and 4-2. And if you look back in these games, they have not been in any one of them. There's a pitch that is outside, although the first game they had a chance with bases loaded and everything. But prior to the 9th inning, they were not in that ball game. It took the 9th inning to put something together so that they had a chance.
Well, the Giants have just played better.
Outside, ball 4.
I can think of some similar games and similar situations where the Giants have looked as bad as the Astros have these past 3 games. And the one thing that Roger Craig has done is he has always remained optimistic. And that is not the same approach that Hal Lanier has, obviously.
Here's Glenn Davis coming to plate. He doubled his last time up, 1 for 3. On the inside corner, strike 1. Ten to 1 Giants. Popped up behind home. Melvin will not have a play.
Giants will be tied with the Houston Astros after this ball game. We'll see what happens to the Cincinnati Reds. the Reds go on to win, they'll be in second place.
Time called. Melvin wants to go out and take care of the signs. One's a fastball, two's a curve. Always had a rough time figuring that out in a game like this, a 9-run lead, and you have a rough time figuring out what the signs are. And right now, Rogers quite pleased with the way things are going. Swing, and there goes the bat. And that is fouled away. Menke will give the bat back to Davis.
Well, Glenn angry with the workout afterward. He's throwing the bat at the wrong guy. Menke said, I didn't call that meeting or that workout. That guy did.
Yeah, do something with him.
But as an unhappy a face as I've seen all year.
It's been like that for this whole series. Bit low and outside. When the Giants arrive, 1 ball and 2 strikes. When the Giants arrive, there's quite a bit of comment by the Houston players and by Hal Lanier saying, well, if we can win 3 games against the Giants and let Cincinnati do something to the Dodgers, we can get back in this thing. Hit well to left field, and that one will be into the seats. And Glenn Davis with his 29th home run of the year, a 2-run shot here in the 9th inning. 10-3 now.
Now Glenn Davis looks like he caught up with one of Ron Davis's fastball. Doing whatever he can to stay away from that workout. But again, a little late.
Here is Ken Caminiti, and there's ball 1. Giants lead by 7. And Davis have a rough time throwing strikes. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Caminiti, a switch hitter, young man, Bay Area product. Low and outside, ball 3.
Well, you know, a guy that throws a ball that moves so much, it's very difficult sometimes just to throw a straight fastball in for a strike. And Ron Davis right now really struggling. See, even on the pitches that he needs to throw a strike, they even move down and away.
Swing and a miss, and a full count, 3-2.
Caminiti helping out Ron Davis, swinging at ball 4.
The first base, Melendez, will take care of this one. That is out number 2. The Giants are just 1 out away from winning their 6th straight and sweeping the series. And it will be Alan Ashby coming to the plate. Ashby is 0 for 3. There's ball 1. On the season, the Giants are going to end up 11-7 against the Astros. First time they've won a season series since 1982 when they were 13-5. Ball 2. Fly ball hit well to right center field. Youngblood and Nixon, and it is Donnell Nixon making the play, and this game is finally over. And the Giants go on to win it by a score.